The Unity Tactical Modular Attachment Rail Kit 2.0, or in short Mark 2.0, is one of Unity Tactical's unique solutions for all of us guys with a tactical brain bucket. Whoa, that were way too many tacticals in one sentence, but anyway, today we'll be talking about these adapters. Now before we dive into the subject, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button to stay notified, and you can also support us by visiting shop.ReconBrothers.com for all your tactical needs, of which also the Unity Tactical products. Now, as always, we try to be as open as possible when it comes to the relationship we have with certain brands, and for Unity Tactical we are an official reseller, mainly because you guys have been asking us to make it more available. Another thing we want to mention up front is that we will always be as objective as possible with these kind of reviews, aside from our personal opinions, of course. Now, since we work with both Peltor and Sordin, we do know quite a bit about how these products are rated, and because of that we were pretty skeptical about this Unity Tactical product at first. But we can already say that we are quite impressed with this 2.0 version.
Moving! Two!
The Unity Tactical Mark 2.0 comes in a simple packaging with the QR code to the user manual printed on the label. Inside the package you'll find the two Mark adapters, which are made of solid metal and impact resistant polymer. You'll also find two ARC backers made of polymer and two sets of 4 screws. Now, the reason why the Mark 2.0 adapters were actually invented was mainly because of airborne units. They have to jump out of planes and thus deal with pressure differences, which can cause issues with the regular adapters that have an open-close function. These Unity Mark 2.0 adapters don't have that open-close function and thus provide continuous pressure. So the first feature you'll immediately notice when using them is that they provide a far better pressure compared to standard adapters. The second one is that it can still be turned backwards, but due to the continuous pressure it will also mess up your cushioning much faster. Another feature is that these have a very minimalistic design compared to standard adapters. This allows you to have more space for example, your Mohawk camera or your Streamlight Sidewinder stock or any other given light. Alternatively, you can even mount a flashlight on your helmet without using the Velcro. This thanks to the Remora for Mark adapters. Another pretty great feature is that the main screw is not removable, so you won't have any chance of losing it compared to other adapters. Another awesome feature of this Mark adapter is that it is basically a universal adapter, meaning you can use it on most helmet rails and headsets, whereas normally with an adapter it is very specific to the rail type of the helmet and the headset you use. Now, when it comes to compatible headsets, you can easily use these with most 3M Peltor contact headsets, as well as with Sordin Supreme headsets that have a slim headband design. There are also headsets that do require you to get the Unity SARA adapters in order to install the Mark kit on the headset, and those are most TEA high thread headsets, most TCI Liberator headsets, and the Sordin Supreme headsets with a neckband, or the ones that don't have the slim headband. Now, a few points to mention with these SARA adapters is that they are pretty expensive, they do require you to open up your headset, and they are a to install. And in most cases it is also an irreversible process, but thus far they are the only decent option to make it happen. Now, that is it when it comes to compatible headsets. Let's have a look at the compatible helmet rails. Here they are compatible with Team Wendy X-Fuel Rail 2.0 and 3.0, the Cry Precision airframe rails, the Opscore ARC rails, and the Galvian, Viper and Cayman helmet rails. In addition to that, they are also compatible with M-Lock rail systems, but then you do need a special adapter from Unity to make it compatible. Now, that was it when it comes to all the official rail types. However, the Mark 2.0 now also comes with an additional ARC backer, which is a bit wider for all those non-standard ARC rail types. Now, to show you a brief example of how these are assembled, let's have a look at our demonstration with the Sordin Supreme mil.cc Slim and the Team Wendy X-Fuel Rail 3.0. So guys, let's get started with the demonstration. Well, first, we already took the bridge off about a year ago, since this is a headset I use actively. So that's the first step you gotta do. You gotta cut the leather wrap to free the cable, and then you can unscrew these screws to get the ear pads off. Now, the first thing we're gonna do is make sure our Unity mark adapter gets connected to these little screws, because this will allow us to attach it to the sword-in. It's pretty simple. Then we're gonna put these legs in. It requires a little bit of force, but it is easily done. Like that. Okay, so now we just have to screw them tight. Of course, you can choose the height, but that will be something you need to test out when it's attached to the helmet. So then your ear cup looks like this. Now let's have a look at the Team Wendy helmet. This is the X-Fil LTP with rail 3.0. Since we're mounting the sword-in headset on the Team Wendy helmet, we only need to remove the screws but leave the plate in. So let's get to that. It's one screw. That's the other one. And then we're going to use the screws that came with the mark adapter to attach it to the Team Wendy helmet. Unfortunately, you have to use another Allen key, but it all comes in the box. So just like that, and that is the finished for one side. So guys, this is what the finished result looks like. Of course, you also have to think of your cable management. A lot of people just put a cover over it so it doesn't stick behind something. I usually prefer to put it inside the helmet underneath the padding, so that's also an option. And for those of you that don't use a Team Wendy rail but ARC rails, you also need to use these backer plates to make that functional. Now when it comes to personal experience, I've been using these adapters during tactical courses with an active use of over 10+ hours.
Come on, don't shoot the barrel! Oh. Come on! One! Four! Stay stable, come on!
Now the first thing I want to mention about these is that they have a much higher pressure compared to your standard headset adapters. In my opinion, this is also a lot better because it is more similar to your headband headsets.
Left side! Left side! Right side! Right side! To the right side! Left side!
Now although the difference in pressure is very big, I never had the feeling like it was squeezing my head, and that is a good thing, of course. I've been wearing it for 5+ hours straight and I never had any issue. One of the downsides I want to mention about these adapters is that in combination with, for example, the Peltor Compact 7 I use now, these arms tend to be too long, which makes them poke my skin, and that is very unpleasant, especially over a longer period of time. Now of course this depends on the height of your ears and also on which rail type you use it, but that is different for everyone. Now another thing to mention is that these are quite expensive compared to your typical ARC adapters. However, when it comes to adapters for other rail types, they're about the same price, and these come with a significant amount of advantages, so we personally would still prefer these over the other ones. Now as for our conclusion, are these really the best headset adapters out there? Well, it still depends on your needs. We see a lot of people now jumping on the new OpsCore amp behind the head mounts, which have some other advantages. However, if you're still looking for an over-the-head solution which is reliable and simplistic, these are probably your best option out there. Now guys, if you think this video was helpful, make sure to leave a like and also let us know which helmet and headset you prefer to use in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, keep training, and I'll see you next time.